It's your boy Ball. It's the best day of my life. Tomorrow's not promised. Go on and do your little dance while they still playing your song. And man, we're gonna bring it on home today. We're coming into Fulton County Jail. This is a highly requested video. Let's take it from where it's at, bro. Let's go for what we know. Now, today we're talking about a place most people never see and most would rather forget, but that's been a site of horrific suffering, unconstitutional conditions, and human deaths in one of America's largest counties. It's the Fulton County Jail in Georgia. We're not here to recycle wild rumors or to glorify pain. We're here to understand the truth, to give voice to the voiceless, and to expose what is happening inside these walls so that people beyond these bars finally take notice. What's happened at the Fulton County Jail isn't random. It's the result of decades of neglect, overcrowding, failed policies, and a justice system that treats people like numbers, not humans with rights. Let's dive in, man.
Only Channel 2 Action News is taking you inside a raid of the Fulton County Jail. And this is just some of what strike teams confiscated. Things like drugs, cell phones, shanks, a makeshift hatchet, even a bullet. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie has this exclusive story live from Northwest Atlanta. And Mark, the sheriff believes someone actually used drones to get stuff into the hands of inmates.
And the Fulton County Sheriff's Office says this is some of the contraband recovered in the massive shakedown we're on inside the Fulton County Jail, and a lot of the illegal cell phones, which can go for thousands inside the jail, drugs and tobacco recovered, came into the jail via illegal drone drops. Wait till you see the ingenuity involved, however misguided.
The sound is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing we're going up here to do is a massive shakedown. We're looking for any weapons, drugs, or any contraband that the inmates are not supposed to have.
Sheriff Pat Labatt says the Fulton County Sheriff's Office jail strike team struck a vein of contraband quickly in the first zone they hit.
This is a cell phone and charger found within seconds of hitting this unit.
Yes. On the high security 7th floor of the Fulton County Jail.
This has been a high priority area for us with respect to drone activity.
And before Saturday morning was done, men and women normally assigned not just to the jail, but to the courthouse and across the sheriff's office, who had assembled in the early morning darkness, had amassed a massive amount of dangerous material inmates aren't supposed to have, but did. Lots of makeshift weapons, including shanks, even a makeshift hatchet, cell phones, even a bullet, suspected drugs. The Fulton County Sheriff's Office says all this from one shakedown. These are more than a half dozen suspected crack pipes?
Yes.
Taken from inside the jail.
Yep.
The Sheriff's Office says the shakedown turned up 22 illegal cell phones, suspected marijuana, tobacco, plenty of pills, even a bottle labeled as the prescription drug promethazine. And then there are the weapons.
I'm surprised the building's still standing.
Most of the weapons made from things stripped out of the building.
From the plumbing shafts to the lighting fixtures.
It smells like it.
We had watched as the stuff piled up in that one zone. Where'd those come from?
Cell 504.
It's just our commissary kiosk,
But what's it turned into?
the charging station.
This is marijuana from California. This is found in cells. And that's marijuana?
Yes, sir. How did that go get in the window? Through the inmates burning, they'll use, as you can see, the exposed wires up in the light fixtures, so they'll use that to start fires, and then they will just sit there until they can melt away the plastic. So the reason why now the inmates burn the holes inside of the windows is because they're using drones.
We told the story of drones in prisons, but drone drops are now a major factor in the contraband trade at the Fulton County Jail.
Absolutely. Some have crash landed and ultimately with different types of payloads.
In trial. 15 on right. I'm away in trial.
Innocent or guilty?
I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
Near the zone, we got shakedown reaction from one inmate.
We don't have no problems back here. These folk coming up here antagonizing it. We ain't got no problems up here.
The inmate we interviewed on camera earlier this morning What'd you find in the cell he shares with somebody else?
We collected 2 cell phones out of that cell.
You know anything about a couple of cell phones?
No name about no contraband. No name about no contraband, no cell. I'm here waiting trial.
In fairness, Natalie Ammons with the sheriff's office says there is no way to know if the cell phones belong to the inmate we interviewed, a cellmate, or someone else, and he was not charged with them. And I guess this image puts a fine point on the danger faced by staff and inmates here in the Fulton County Jail.
This is what I want to say. Fulton County Jail serves as Atlanta's primary holding facility for people waiting trial, people serving short sentences, and others cycling through the criminal justice system. It's meant to be a pre-trial detention center, not a long-term prison, yet it has become one of the most troubled jails in the country.
Our first story, understaffed, dangerous, and unsupervised. Those are just some of the words a federal investigator used to describe the ongoing crisis inside the Fulton County Jail. The federal report revealed that most floors of the Rice Street facility have just one deputy or detention officer supervising around 200 detainees. Channel 2's Michael Seiden live for us now in Northwest Atlanta. And Michael, you saw that 40-page document filed in federal court. What'd you see?
Yeah, George, we all remember this is part of that deal with the U.S. Department of Justice. We know that there were monitors, that's what they call them. They toured this jail back in May. Then late last week, the lead monitor filed her report in federal court, and she didn't hold back when she described the problems happening right now inside this facility on Rice Street.
There's nothing surprising in that report to me.
Prominent criminal defense attorney Brian Tevis spoke with me via Zoom from his downtown Atlanta office Monday, just minutes before he was preparing to meet with one of his clients now being held behind bars at the infamous Fulton County Jail on Rice Street.
I've had cases myself where clients are attacked by other people with or without a weapon, multiple people jumping on them.
Tevis is talking about the disturbing findings revealed in a report filed on August 21st in federal court. Kathleen Kinney, the lead monitor and author of the report, toured the main jail on May 19th and described what she saw during her time inside. Most floors in the main jail were staffed with only one deputy or detention officer, she wrote. This lone deputy was responsible for approximately 200 residents who were housed in 6 separate housing zones. She also described how the severe understaffing at the main jail has given inmates the opportunity to smuggle in contraband. Some of the weapons are used to burn holes in the windows to allow drones to drop drugs, weapons, and other contraband into the jail, virtually unabated and undetected, she noted. The doors do not lock, phones do not work, showers are unsanitary, plumbing fixtures and lights remain unrepaired, and video tablets are broken. But the problems begin well before people are booked into jail. In fact, the intake area includes 3 separate holding tanks where most people were packed in so tightly that they could not sit or lie down, according to the report. And many people have been held in these inhumane conditions for 5 to 7 days.
The easiest fix to a staffing problem or a housing problem at the jails is to reduce the number of people you have in jail for drug charges, nonviolent offenses.
Now, we did reach out to Sheriff Labatt for comment, but so far we have not heard back. And we want to remind you, county commissioners did recently approve more than $1 billion in funding to help with extra hiring, overtime, and some of the repairs in there. But Sheriff Labatt has disagreed and argued again, time and time again, that it is time to build a new.
Federal investigations have found Fulton County Jail often operates at twice its design capacity, with more than 2,000 people housed in spaces built for far fewer. Overcrowding doesn't just strain space, it strains safety, security, and basic human dignity. It's an ongoing process. The stories get darker, the shanks get bloodier. Let's go.
I'm Marissa Sarback reporting outside the Fulton County Jail tonight. The sheriff's office tells us that one inmate was assaulted by another inmate on September 22nd, and she is now in critical condition and on life support. Tyriana Ledbetter has been in Fulton County Jail since May on charges including armed robbery and aggravated assault during a home invasion. The sheriff's office says she was attacked by another inmate, Shania White, on September 22nd.
They're saying my child has a slim of recovering. My baby is on life support.
Tyriana's mother, Gloria Buckner, says she didn't hear from the sheriff's office until days later and didn't know the extent of her daughter's injuries until she was able to see her a week later.
It's just unfit, crowded, and you take a 27-year-old with a 20-year-old that's reading on a 6th grade level and beat my baby. like she was nothing. Let alone you let 5-6 days go by and media people know, and I did not know what happened or where my child was.
Well, during that same meeting for the commissioners, they voted to approve repairs to the Fulton County Jail. That decision coming just hours before this flooding made its way inside the jail. Look at this. A couple of inches of water was coming up through the floor from a drain pipe and filling the hallways there. It appears to be at least a couple of inches of water we saw there. Plumbers were on site and no inmates had to be moved. Sheriff Pat Labat was there and said this isn't the first time the jail is flooded. He says flooding like this can stall operations and makes it hard to hire staff when they keep seeing all these issues. Well, just hours before that, the Board of Commissioners voted to greenlight a $1.2 billion plan that would build a new special purpose facility to house inmates with mental health issues and also fund repairs at the troubled Rice Street Jail. That funding, by the way, won't kick in until 2030, and the sheriff says that's not fast enough. He also had a message for commissioners last night.
Get out of bed and come see women and men and inmates fighting this water that's coming in. Get out the bed like Commissioner Ivory did the day before and take another tour, take a recent tour. Come be a part of the solution.
Again, the sheriff has long said we need a brand new jail here in Fulton County, but commissioners so far are not going along with that. The vote for the repairs and the new facility did not address the overcrowding issue at the Fulton County Jail. Some inmates have been housed at the Atlanta Detention Center since 2023 to combat that, but as we've been reporting, that partnership is set to end next year.
Tonight, a new report claims the Fulton County Jail is understaffed and the facility is in poor condition. Atlanta News First reporter Niamani Watson live for us outside of that jail on Rice Street. And Niamani, this report says staff do not feel safe working at the jail.
Yes, Sydney, the report says there is nowhere near enough staff to adequately supervise the inmates here, that this comes after a $1.1 billion plan to renovate the jail and build an additional facility. But some say that will not matter if the staffing issues aren't addressed.
A bombshell report by a court-appointed jail monitor states the Fulton County Jail is severely understaffed and in poor condition, claiming that most floors in the main jail on Rice Street only have one deputy or detention officer who is responsible for 200 inmates.
When you don't have enough staff to monitor people, people die, people get in fights, people are left unattended.
Michael Collins is part of a group that advocates for decarceration. Last week, the Fulton County Commission approved a $1 billion plan to renovate the jail and build another facility. This past Wednesday, Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labat says he wants a new facility and spoke about the staffing crisis while criticizing the decision.
It is hard to attract good talent when you're asking them to work in these conditions.
The report claims the sheriff's office says that because of the lack of supervision due to staffing issues, inmates are able to get access to weapon stocks and create weapons. Some of those weapons are used to burn holes in the windows to allow drones to drop drugs, weapons, and other contraband into the jail. Sheriff Labat also admitted that they can't compete with other law enforcement agencies that are offering better benefits and salaries.
Sandy Springs, Roswell, even the city of South Fulton, even the Atlanta Public Schools Police. Right, we've lost 50 to 70 people just to other agencies.
The report also links staffing issues to some maintenance issues, stating that inmates damage items soon after they're repaired and will continue destroying the facilities until staff are adequately able to manage them.
We reached out to the sheriff's office for comment about the report. We were told that Sheriff Labat will issue a statement after he reviews it sometime this week. Live outside of the Fulton County Jail, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
Niamani.
Fulton County deputy is now on the wrong side of the law. He's accused of conspiring with 3 inmates to allow contraband in the Rice Street Jail. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us now from Fulton County and tells us all 4 are under arrest. Angelique?
Yeah, good afternoon to you both. Former Deputy DeMarcus Tinsley is out of a job tonight. He's accused of being a part of a plan that allowed a drone to land here at the Fulton County Jail, a drone that allegedly had contraband in it. Arrest warrants indicate a September 2nd shakedown at the Fulton County Jail revealed a substantial amount of illegal contraband. The items recovered included suspected cocaine, marijuana, crystal meth, strips, and a cell phone. The document indicates command staff noticed a breach in the window, causing staffers to launch a search and review surveillance videos. The warrant says camera footage showed inmates passing items under a fire door. The inmates were strip searched, and a captain found a small Ziploc bag that contained a note detailing a drone drop-off scheduled for either Saturday, August 30th, or Sunday, August 31st. The warrant says the note implicated Deputy Tinsley, the floor officer, in facilitating the drop. Then, a more alarming development. The video showed Deputy Tinsley allowing 3 inmates who were assigned to housing on 7 North to enter Zone 400 and remain from August 31st at 10 p.m. to September 1st at 4 a.m. without any authority. Those 3 inmates have been charged with conspiracy to commit a felony. They are Clavon Battle, Willie Holt, and Karanji Reese. Deputy Tinsley is charged too in the conspiracy. He faces violation of oath by a public officer and conspiracy to commit a felony. Now, I reached out to the former deputy to get his side of the story. His wife tells me that he is out on bond and he is trying to hire an attorney to fight these charges. We are live at the Fulton County Jail. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Extraordinary.
United States Department of Justice, DOJ, found that the jail physicality fails to meet basic constitutional standards. Federal investigators concluded that people in custody face violence from other detainees, including stabbings and homicides, excessive force by staff, unsanitary and dangerous living conditions, including pest infestation, malnourishment, and filth, inadequate medical and mental health care, unlawful use of solitary confinement, particularly affecting people with mental health disabilities. For many, inside detention at Fulton County Jail isn't just incarceration, it's dangerous and dehumanizing. Let's continue.
Chairman of the Fulton County Commission says enough is enough. District 2 Commissioner Bob Ellis says he has lost confidence in Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt following a series of deaths and problems at the Fulton County Jail. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor says the latest problem involves a detention officer dressing as an inmate for Halloween.
What?
Fox 5 News has learned that fired detention officer Jesse Scott was hired in December of last year, but according to court documents, immediately started committing crimes.
It may be a tough job, but he signed up to do it.
The Fulton County Commission Vice Chairman is frustrated with Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt. Commissioner Bob Ellis believes Labatt is ultimately responsible for most of the problems at the Fulton County Jail. Most recently, jail officials say 23-year-old Jesse Scott was hired as a detention officer, but he is accused of quickly crossing the line and not only violating his oath of office, but committing crimes. According to court documents, Scott sent nude body part and pornographic photos to several inmates while serving as a detention officer. Those same court records indicate Scott lied and told inmates he was a sheriff's deputy and received $4,000 to provide contraband to inmates. The accusations disturb Vice Chairman Ellis, who says the avalanche of problems at the jail stopped with one man.
I'm glad the individual was terminated, as he should have been, right? But at some point in time, you look at sort of the total picture of things and say, hey, there's a pattern of concern here. These aren't isolated incidents.
Fox 5 News has learned part of the investigation into detention officer Scott involves him dressing up as an inmate for Halloween and boldly posting his costume on his Instagram page.
There are going to be instances which occur, right? So, and I think folks get that, but it's more the pattern and the plethora of incidents that have occurred. And then layer on top of that, the deaths that have occurred and maybe the inattention to care that, may have happened there.
Commissioner Ellis says the commission funded $188 million for the sheriff's office this year with little to show for it.
We provided significant funding and there's not been returned.
We reached out to the sheriff's office to get a comment, but they declined, citing an active investigation. In Northwest Atlanta, Angelique Proctor,
Meantime, we want to take you to the Fulton County Jail, boy, where problems persist as an inmate is facing charges for assaulting another inmate. Angelique Proctor following this story for us. Angelique, the victim, we understand, is in very, very serious condition this afternoon.
That is right, Tom. We are actually at Grady Memorial Hospital where Terriana Ledbetter is still here on life support in critical condition inside the intensive care unit. And her family spoke out for the first time today. This is a family that is really hurting, a family just devastated by this development. And they tell me they have so many questions about how and why this happened to her while she was in the custody of the Fulton County Jail. Now take a look at this picture. This was shared with us by her family. This is the 20-year-old from her hospital bed. Now her mother says that Terriana really does not even look like herself and that she is unresponsive at this time. The mother says the 21-year-old is on life support, as I stated. We also learned today that she is disabled, and her mother says she reads on a 6th grade level. Gloria Buckner, who is the mother, says she believes her daughter should have never been in a cell.
September 2022, 35-year-old LaShawn Thompson died in the Fulton County Jail's mental health unit after being housed in a cell infested with bed bugs and insects. His body was reportedly covered in pest, and he was neglected to death, according to the federal investigations. Thompson's death drew national attention, and his family later received a settlement, but his loss was more than a headline. It became a symbol of a system failing its most vulnerable citizens. Here we have another example. And some of the footage I'm not going to show you because it just gets repetitive because it's story after story. Today is Wednesday. Guess what? Next week, there'll be a slew of additional stories. Now, the DOJ found that between 2022 and present time, 6 incarcerated people have died in violence, including stabbings and beatings. In some cases, individuals were stabbed and killed by other detainees, revealing how pervasive and unchecked contraband weapons like homemade shanks have become. Now, suicides and mental health failures, in addition to violence, there were 4 known suicide deaths in recent years, a stark indicator of how inadequately mental health needs are addressed. When people don't even get access to basic mental health support, the consequences can be tragic.
With the 27-year-old Shania White. Now, White has been charged with aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and tampering with evidence. But many supporters of the Ledbetter family believe the entire system failed this inmate. John C. Barnett traveled.
Renderly's attorney says they plan to appeal the decision.
Another inmate death inside the Fulton County Jail. Alexander Hawkins is the 7th inmate death this year. Fulton County Jail officials say they discovered 66-year-old Hawkins unresponsive in the medical unit Thursday morning. Atlanta police say Hawkins was arrested July 31st. He was initially taken to the Atlanta City Jail on a shoplifting charge, but then was later taken to the Fulton County Jail. No information is known on his medical condition, but retired jail manager Charles Rambo acknowledges some inmates come into the Rice Street Jail already sick.
We have a lot of inmates that are coming into the jail with pre-existing conditions that they otherwise would not be able to afford health care on the street.
The Fulton County Medical Examiner will complete an autopsy on Hawkins soon. Now, this news comes as Fox 5 has obtained new video of another violent encounter inside the Fulton County Jail, this time involving weapons.
A former Fulton County prosecutor says the video shows just how easy it seems to be to carry out an assault. Fox 5's Morris Diggs has this exclusive story.
What you are about to see is not a fight, it is an assault with weapons being used. This is ugly, but unfortunately not all that unusual.
It is frightening to think that it has become that easy to attack somebody in the Fulton County Jail and for us to see it.
Because as attorney Ash Joshi notes, someone recorded the assault inside the Fulton County Jail.
There was weapons involved in that video. You could see by the way people were coming down on that young man's back.
Perhaps pieces of metal like these, confiscated items, or something as simple as a toothbrush. Fox 5 does not know how long this attack went on. There is no staff immediately evident. Joshi says when he was serving as an assistant district attorney, the overcrowding problem, how many officers to cover inmates, was not as severe as present day.
That ratio makes it such that the deputies are concerned for their own safety first, because if one of them rushes into that situation that we saw in the video, now that deputy's in danger.
For anyone with a family member inside the Rice Street Jail, what Joshi explained next is sobering.
We used to at least be able to say to the people charged with lesser offenses that, hey, you're going to be in a section of the jail where probably not too many bad things going on. But that section of the jail doesn't exist anymore. Unfortunately, this video is just emblematic of things that are happening at that jail from the first floor up to the 7th floor. Your son is going to a place where the authorities cannot ensure their safety. It's really unthinkable that we have a situation like that anywhere in the United States.
The sheriff's office has said next to nothing about this video. Just to confirm, it's a recent incident and
these calls are all.
A Fulton County commissioner says the revelation that a rap video was shot inside the jail is evidence the facility needs better supervision. An entire housing pod at the jail took part in the unauthorized recording while an officer watched.
Well, now Vice Chairman Bob Ellis is calling on Sheriff Pat Labat to make corrections right away and provide the service he says taxpayers are paying for. Fox 5's Morse Diggs is live in Northeast Atlanta tonight with details. Morse?
Well, Russ, has been well documented. The jail is overpopulated and officers are short-staffed. But, he says, when it comes down to a rap video being shot and commanders don't know about it, that comes down to management.
This isn't surprising. Am I shocked by it? No. Am I disappointed? Am I frustrated? Yes.
This is what the vice chairman of the Fulton County Commission is talking about, a recorded rap session that all the other inmates in one jail housing pod appeared to enjoy. The housing door was left open. An officer watches. The Fulton lawmaker looks at the scene and other incidents and questions Sheriff Pat Labat's command of the jail.
That's management and supervision. It's frustrating to kind of continue to hear about incidents that are occurring, people in compromising positions, etc.
Just a couple of other examples. Authorities say a former jail staffer put herself in a compromising position with a male inmate in a private jail office. On a different day, you had this image, restaurant meals brought to inmates by an officer. Vice Chair Ellis says taxpayers are paying for high-quality staffers supervised by competent commanders. In an earlier interview, the sheriff told me that is his goal.
We've been very intentional about working with the Board of Commissioners. We've given just our law enforcement division and our sworn division a 36% pay raise in the last 2 years. All right, we're the only law enforcement agency that we know of in the metro area is paying a $10,500 bonus.
Now, we got a follow-up statement from the sheriff this afternoon in which he notes, if you look at voting records and which commissioners have reached out directly and even visited the jail, it will be clear which ones are interested in sustainable solutions and which ones are obsessed with playing politics. He didn't mention any commissioner by name.
They are suing the county, the sheriff, and the county board of commissioners, saying they are responsible for their son's death. Fox 5's Alexa Liaco joins us live outside the Fulton County Jail tonight with more on their fight for justice. Alexa?
Good evening. Their son, Leonard Fortner, was stabbed more than 20 times inside the Fulton County Jail after being arrested for a petty theft. And his parents say at this point they believe they're...
I'm going to say this. Fulton County Jail, it isn't just home for convicted murderers. It's full of people awaiting trial who haven't yet been convicted, people arrested on minor charges or misdemeanors, individuals with mental health or substance abuse issues. More than 60% of the population according to reports, these are drug addictions. In other words, people are held simply because they cannot post bail or because the court backlog keeps them waiting, sometimes for months inside conditions that violate the law and unfortunately causes for unnecessarily lives to be lost, bro.
Only chance to impact real change and improve conditions inside the jail is to take legal action.
The family outings are pretty tough because Leonard would always be there. He was the joke. He would make sure everybody was laughing.
1 year ago, Donna and Terry Fortner received a call that changed their family forever. Their son, 37-year-old Leonard Fortner, was stabbed to death inside the Fulton County Jail.
He did not have the protection. He did not have his civil rights honored. So we're wanting reform, and reform enough where it's going to save lives.
They are now suing the county, the sheriff, and the county board of commissioners for negligence. The complaint claims the staff let their son, who was HIV positive and should have been isolated for medical reasons, into the general population. The lawsuit also says the man who stabbed Fortner, Edward Cherry, used a piece of the jail's crumbling walls to kill Fortner.
So he took part of the building, made the shank, and stabbed him over 20 times. Stabbed him to death.
The Fortner's attorney says what happened to Leonard is part of the negligence that was outlined in the November 2024 Department of Justice report on conditions inside the Fulton County Jail. That report was followed by a January consent decree demanding changes be made.
The federal government saying, you need to do this or else, which is what a consent decree is. You must do A, B, C, or else. And it's enforceable by the courts. That, to me, would lead to plenty of action under normal circumstances, but we've not seen that.
As the
In July 2023, the United States Department of Justice, through the Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act, CRIPA, and other laws, opened a formal investigation into Fulton County Jail based on credible reports of unconstitutional conditions. Now, by November 2024, Department of Justice concluded that conditions violate the Constitution and federal law in detail: widespread violence, including homicides and stabbings, unsanitary housing, and adequate protections against excessive force, deficient medical and mental health services. Federal officials called the conditions dangerous, unlawful, and unconstitutional. After all that has taken place, the killing continues.
Prisoners wait for the county to enact federal demands for improvement. They hope their lawsuit will also force real change so others inside the jail can serve their time safely.
It's not about the money. It will never be about the money. Yes, it will be about human rights. Yes, it will be about making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Yes, making sure that they're doing the changes, reforming.
And we reached out to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office for a comment, but they said they cannot speak on pending litigation. Live in Fulton County, Alexa Liacco, Fox 5 News.
We can certainly understand their anger and heartbreak. Alexa, thanks so much.
Want to refocus your attention here locally because there's more drama playing out at the Fulton County Jail. This time it involves a detention officer who was in the hospital this afternoon after being stabbed apparently by an inmate. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor on top of this story. On top of this story, other stories. Angelique, seems like one story after another coming out of the Fulton County Jail.
Facts.
Yeah, Tom, good afternoon to you. That is exactly what you said yesterday, but the Fulton County Jail is once again in the headlines. Now, we have very little information about what happened to this officer beyond the fact that we know he was stabbed. Now, I did see Sheriff Patrick Labatt over at Grady Memorial Hospital this morning, so it is safe to say that he was checking on the officer. I saw him over there about 10:30 this morning. What we do know is that this stabbing apparently happened here at the Rice Street facility around 8 o'clock this morning. I can tell you that the Fulton County Board of Commissioners was notified just after 9 o'clock that a detention officer was stabbed and en route to Grady Hospital. I have talked to two independent sources who tell me that the stabbing was done by an inmate using a shank. Now, the Board of Commissioners had a very encouraging update from the sheriff. They were told that the detention officer has had a CT scan and is doing well enough now that they expect that he will be released from the hospital today. That is certainly good news. But of course, all of this comes on the heels of the inmate attack that left 20-year-old Terriana Ledbetter on life support, also at Grady Hospital. Jail officials charged her cellmate, Shania White, with aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and tampering with evidence. Now, both of the families of those inmates tell us that their loved ones were mentally ill and should never have been put in the same cell together. The Fulton County chairman also tells us that the federal monitor is here in town this week, here at the Fulton County Jail. So certainly you've got to wonder if she's getting word of any of this and how she is responding to this. But that is the very latest that we have tonight, Tom. We have been given some information about who the inmate was. We are waiting on the sheriff to release any of that information, the name of the detention officer involved, as well as the name of the inmate involved.
What a time, Angelique, for this federal monitor to be here as all of these things happen. The prisoner who's in the hospital clinging to life after being attacked. The guard now in the hospital after being stabbed apparently by another inmate. Patrick Labat, has he spoken publicly on any of this? You mentioned he was at the hospital today.
He has not. We have reached out to his office. I would imagine he is very busy, but at this time, we have still not even been able to get the details of how this stabbing happened, but we will continue to reach out to Sheriff Patrick Labat.
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions. We know you're doing your best to get answers. Angelique Proctor there, where she so often is, in front of the Fulton County Jail, with yet another incident happening there. Angelique, thanks.
But first tonight, unconstitutional, unlawful, and dangerous.
In 2023 alone, we identified 314 stabbings and more than 1,000 assaults.
What a new Department of Justice report reveals about conditions inside the Fulton County Jail and how county leaders are responding.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. Tonight, the Fulton County Sheriff and the Fulton County Commission Chair say it's time to look forward, not backward, as they continue to make changes and improvements at the jail.
So this comes in response to a scathing report from the Department of Justice. The report found inadequate staffing, a lack of food, unsanitary conditions, a lack of mental and medical care, and evidence of hundreds of stabbings and thousands of assaults.
Detention in the Fulton County Jail has amounted to a death sentence for dozens of people who have been murdered or who died as a result of the atrocious conditions inside the facility.
Now, despite the report tonight, county leaders are expressing some optimism, saying that they've made progress at the jail with more work to come.
11 Alive's Angelina Salcido is live tonight from the Fulton County Jail on Rice Street. And Angelina, you spoke to a man who had firsthand experience inside those walls. What does he say tonight?
Well, Ladavius McNair spoke to us last week after he was released from here for being wrongly arrested. He says that the experience that he felt in here was traumatic and completely changed his life. Sheriff Labat and Chairman Pitts say that they continue outsourcing to decrease the population. They also continue to train the staff and are working on structural fixes. But tonight, the question that still lingers is all of that enough?
30 days. 30 days.
It didn't take much time.
What I realized was that Rice Street location is pretty intense.
Ladavius McNair knows firsthand what life behind these walls is like. The 32-year-old just released November 1st after a judge ruled he was wrongly arrested by Atlanta police.
Inmates are really going through a lot of things in there.
He says it felt like he had no rights.
I ate rice and 2 slices of bread for dinner. I've been denied water. They say, you don't deserve water. Water's a privilege. I've seen inmates literally taking their cup, dipping it in the toilet and drinking the water. People getting jumped, people getting shanked, people are getting raped.
For him, every day was a fight.
How do I survive this? Because I don't want to die in here.
But despite his experience in the DOJ's report,
we are certainly
in a space now that we are happy that it has come out.
I'm excited about where we are and believe that we're headed in the right direction.
Both Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt and Chairman Rob Pitts say they're happy with the improvements made to the jail so far and their plan for its future.
We will have to comply with whatever the Justice Department recommends, and that's what we're in the process of doing now.
When it comes to the question of getting a new building,
We are going to work with the facility we have.
In 2025, Fulton County approved a major renovation and expansion plan for the Rice Street Jail. Over $1.1 billion aimed at long-term improvement and accommodating vulnerable populations separately. But money alone doesn't fix a culture of neglect. It takes systematic change. It takes political will, accountability, and respect for basic human rights for those detained. See, the theme on all of my pages is this, and my agenda in life is simply for humans to be treated like humans and for humans to treat humans like humans. That's it. The term inmate, the term, whatever term, if you replace that term with the word human, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, I think that the outcome improves dramatically. That's just my personal opinion.
Now all new at 11, an exclusive CBS 46 Bulldog investigation. Our chief investigator, Jonathan Carlson, with rare access inside the Fulton County Jail.
He spoke one-on-one with inmates sleeping on floors, and the chief jailer says they can barely house those inmates due to overcrowding. It is a crunch that may eventually pinch your tax dollars.
Go ahead to the door.
We're inside the Fulton County Jail.
Things tend to pop off a lot quicker and more violently now than they did when I first started.
Colonel Mark Adger is the chief jailer with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
Jail has never been a fun place to be in.
He gave the Bulldog rare access to the jail and its inmates.
We're gonna go in 600.
Now over 600. Some eager to show us how they pass the time.
This is what happens when you live in a room 20 hours a day and you have nothing to do but read, think, sleep, right?
And then there are those on what they call the boats, caught like buckets on the floor, assigned to the overflow crowd.
I was on the second floor and no space for nobody. And then they move us up here.
You might not have much sympathy for the comfort of an accused lawbreaker.
What's it been like 22 days on a floor?
Very, very, very rough.
But the chief jailer says it's evidence of an overtaxed justice system the public needs to care about.
This problem's not going to go away.
When we visited, Adger told us about 150 to 200 inmates on average were sleeping on the floor, no cell available. He points to a lack of judges and a slowdown in signature bonds, which he says used to get inmates out of jail faster, especially those in here on minor charges, something I heard from the inmates themselves when I walked the cell blocks.
They just holding me in jail.
They're just holding you in jail?
Oh, misdemeanor jail.
How long have you been in here?
Almost 45 days.
45 days? What's it been like sleeping out here on the floor?
You'd be better off in the room than to be being out there on the boat. The boat's nasty.
So how long did it take before you got a cell?
Almost a month.
A month?
Colonel Adger also says determining who can be housed where has gotten more complicated, pointing to mental health issues as one reason.
It's a situation that we have to adjust to.
So what's the immediate but unsustainable fix? Earlier this year, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners approved funding to outsource inmates to Gwinnett County, but Gwinnett has yet to approve the agreement. I'm Jonathan Carlson.
Beaten at the Fulton County Jail because of what a jailer did. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Eric Perry and for Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Investigators say it was caught on security video. Our Morse Diggs is live in Northeast Atlanta, and Morse court documents lay out this dangerous scenario. Break it down for us.
Well, a group of inmates piled on one vulnerable prisoner with the detention officer watching it all take place. Fortunately, this victim was not sustained in any kind of a serious injuries, but when you see what we learned from the court documents, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Unlocking cells and allowing other persons in custody to attack different people. Wow.
A jail monitor's report of misconduct by a Fulton officer seems so bizarre. We've tried to uncover every detail about the alleged actions of Gloria Franklin that, if true, not only violates policy, but is also a violation of the law. Back in February, an inmate identified as Frank Hubbard was the one handing out orders to Officer Franklin instead of the other way around. A jail beatdown was about to take place. Court documents describe the actions of the inmate as he walks to the call box and tells Detention Officer Franklin to open the Zone 200 door. Detention Officer Franklin opens the door of Zone 200 and inmate Frank Hubbard walks out.
Absolutely not. To tell a officer through the intercom to open the door so they can have free access to another zone is totally incompetent and illegal.
Hubbard is handed an object that looks like this, a homemade weapon, shank, and puts it in his waistband, according to the court documents. Now, in another zone, Hubbard and others jump a prisoner. That vulnerable inmate is stabbed, punched, and kicked. Officer Franklin is present and even has a conversation with Hubbard. Sheriff's investigators wrote, "At no time during any of the assaults did Detention Officer Franklin attempt to protect inmate, nor did she request any assistance from additional officers to control the situation." Charles Rambo is a law enforcement instructor.
I would have been upset then, and I'm upset about it now as a retired lieutenant.
Now, one of the things that Sheriff Pat Labat did, of course, after firing this prisoner, firing the officer, he also slapped her with prosecution a number of charges, including tampering with evidence. What she tried to do was pick up some cleaner and then try to clean up the blood that was on the floor. Reporting from Northeast Atlanta, I'm Morris Diggs, Fox 5 News.
All right, Morris, thanks.
You know what they did to me? Tell us. Tell us. After January 10th, people started shooting at me and my family. February, I went to jail for trying to protect me and my baby and my girl at the time. They put me in Rice Street on some stuff called medical flow. It's somewhere hid in the jail. It stink. It's crazy people in there talking, yelling through the door, putting feces all on the window and on the wall. They locked me in the room. It's one door right here, it's one door right here, and it's another door back here, and it's another door back here. I'm behind this door. I don't see nobody, I don't talk to nobody. I'm by myself. I'm at the verge of losing my mind. People trying to shoot at me while they got me locked in this room. I can't talk to nobody, I can't see nobody. I'm locked in this room. They held me in that room for 3 weeks. I got out of jail. I had a court date for another county where I never even been to for some charges I never even did. I don't steal out of stores. I went down to that courthouse and tried to get it situated. Went in the wrong courtroom, told the deputy, "Hey, my name is such, such, such. I missed court. I'm here to fix it." He said, oh. I gave him my name, told him what happened. He said, "Oh, you got a warrant," and he locked me up. They put me right back in jail. I stayed in jail a whole month. I had to use the money for selling my four-wheeler to pay an attorney to come represent me. I got the lawyer to come represent me. That lawyer, he got me a bond. A friend of mine gave my baby mama the money to pay my bond. She paid my bond. I got out of jail. The very next day, Atlanta police came into the gym with a whole lot of them. They got me, said that this my bag, this my gun. They took me from my neighborhood to Turnerfield. They questioned me. I told them it wasn't my gun. They let me go. They came back and get me June 10th. They questioned me. I was at the verge of losing my mind because every time I come outside, they keep locking me up. They got me. They did it. They held me in the interrogation room for a whole day probably. I don't know. They put me right back in Rice Street. Put me right back behind all these doors. They constantly kept doing it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, at this point, like, man, I'm tired of keep reliving this stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, man. I'm sitting right here. I got cramps, man. I got knots in my stomach, man. I haven't ate none. I tried to eat yesterday. I haven't ate today. Y'all sitting up here. I asked for a break. I asked. I'm in pain right now.
New tonight, we just learned the identity of the Fulton County inmate who was found dead inside his cell last week. Our sources say 20-year-old Shamar McLeroy's ankles and wrists were bound at the time. The medical examiner tells 11 Alive just hours ago that cause of death has yet to be determined. Earlier tonight, we caught up with McLeroy's grandmother, who says they wanted to help him but just didn't know how.
Down the street, you just couldn't get through here. And so I said, we're just going to let him stay in jail.
So you thought he'd be safer in jail?
Mm-hmm. Get on the street, but I was wrong.
News First starts now.
You would not wish it on anyone. A family says a man was found dead, covered in bugs, inside his Fulton County jail cell. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Rick Fulbaum. And tonight, new at 6, his attorney argues he got no medical help leading up to his death. Just look at where LaShawn Thompson was allegedly sleeping. This deteriorating cell in the jail's psychiatric wing. And we're told that LaShawn Thompson suffered from mental health issues.
Atlanta News First reporter Zach Summers live at the Fulton County. There, Zach, you just learned from Thompson's attorney, those images are disturbing.
Yeah, you know, the lawyer representing the family of LaShawn Thompson tells me this is one of the most inhumane inmate deaths he has ever encountered. The family wants the public to see the poor conditions they say their loved one endured while here at the Fulton County Jail, but we must warn you, some of the images are graphic.
It's just unbelievable.
The image is hard to look at. 35-year-old LaShawn Thompson unresponsive in a Fulton County jail cell covered in what his family's attorney says are insect and bedbug bites.
The scene was so horrific that the detention officer said she would not even administer CPR when they found him because she was freaked out. In her words, freaked out by the scene.
Thompson was arrested for misdemeanor battery in June of 2022. Attorney Michael Harper says the inmate was placed in the psychiatric wing of the jail where he remained for 3 months.
No one really checked on him. We have some records from the jail showing that they saw he was deteriorating. From the medical staff and from detention officers.
Thompson was found dead.
Listen, let's be clear. Jails are meant to house people temporarily, not to become places where people are left to suffer and die. Every name we've talked about, Thompson, Fortner, the others, was someone's family, someone's friend, someone's with potential beyond confinement. A jail should be about justice and safety, not cruelty and indifference. If we want justice systems that work, we must demand a few things. People awaiting trial are treated humanely. Conditions meet constitutional standards. Mental health and medical care are provided. Violence inside a facility is not ignored because a society is judged by how it treats its most vulnerable, including those behind bars. We owe them more than silence. We owe them dignity. We owe them justice. I'm out, man. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think.